Moldova a realizat progrese în toate domeniile din momentul în care am cunoscut primele victime ale traficului de ființe umane din Balcan în anul 2000. După 11 ani, traficul de ființe umane pentru care Moldova, din păcate, a devenit cunoscută, a fost în fond eradicat. Aceasta nu înseamnă că munca noastră a devenit acum lipsită de sens. Numărul beneficiarilor de asistență OIM crește în fiecare an, dar ei sunt ajutați aici, în interiorul țării, înainte că să fie împinși să plece din cauza problemelor personale. Migrația a devenit un proces cu mult mai sigur și este tot mai mult o opțiune pentru persoanele cu educație mai bună. This is a very short summary and it needs some explanation. Number one, it is true that trafficking has not only changed, but in the way it was known 10 years ago is completely different today. The forms of exploitations are less shocking. It doesn't mean that the personal suffering and the personal situation, as we have seen through the testimonies, are not should be tolerated or are not a grave concern from a human rights perspective, from a gender violence perspective, from a labor law perspective, from a general humanitarian perspective. All these cases are still extremely grave, but they don't have the same taste of systematic rape, gang raping, which we have known of minors 10 years ago in huge numbers. To this article I attached a press briefing note which I published in Macedonia 11 years ago, where we announced that we repatriated some 40 young women, all of them victims of trafficking, to Chisinau at around Christmas 2000, and I chartered 2 planes, small planes, because there was no space in the normal flights, and there was also 1 plane back to Bucharest. So these days are gone. As we have seen through the testimonies, and as I say in this document, it doesn't mean the fact that the number of victims of trafficking has been reduced significantly doesn't mean we have no work. We have a lot of work, because finally, and again Slava Domnului, thanks goodness, we have started working with those who need our help before it's too late. And we have started expanding the range, the type of victims we are assisting. As one example are victims of domestic violence. There are child victims of abandonment, who are left without parents and strolling around, who need to be brought back home to Moldova. Then there is a whole range of different forms of labor exploitations, not only through trafficking abroad, but here in the country. I mean, is it trafficking then? Or Moldova is not a very big country, so the element of exploitation and of inhuman treatment from one person to another is highlighted, and the element of the complicated getting the false passports, smuggling through the night, when they went to the Balkans, on foot walking through the mountains because they didn't have visas, depending on smugglers and traffickers, etc. All this myth is gone. We know that there was trafficking both to Russia and Turkey and United Arab Emirates for many years, And to my knowledge, it was never linked to any violation of the border regime. They arrived, they paid in Istanbul, they got their visa, they paid whatever as Moldovans, normal. To Russia, you still don't need a visa. To Dubai or whatever, it's a bit more complicated. But this myth, we really can now separate our work against trafficking, focusing on the causes which provoke people to go abroad, to accept dangerous risks, dubious work offers abroad. We can address them here by helping those who need our assistance, even if they are not victims of trafficking. And we call this proactive prevention, and we are very proud that together with the Ministry of Labour, Social Protection and Family, we have made great progress through the National Referral System. And we hope to continue this work and to integrate it, to make it a cornerstone of the Moldovan social protection system. When I look back at the 7 years we have worked with our partners in the government, NGOs, at the rayon level, at the community level, international partners, our own shared institutions such as the Chisinau Assistance and Protection Center, then I must say it's really time again to thank those people who are directly involved in assisting those in the greatest needs in the country. And I really hope that the donors and that the international community, regardless of how far away they are, in New York, in Washington, in Vienna, in Paris, in London, in Berlin, that they really take note and speak with those and listen to those who really work at the front, meaning with very difficult cases, people, children, women who have fallen through the cracks, who have looked for assistance, for protection, for legal assistance, for protection against marginalization, against abuse, against abusive husbands or boyfriends or relatives or neighbors, but who didn't find protection they needed. And those few who are around and working with us, who do this work, this very difficult, sometimes dangerous work, they deserve a medal.